sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Huge Friday. We're going to get you ready for a massive weekend. There's MLB, there's NHL and NBA playoffs. We've got horsies. We've got, Dan, you got to get in here. We've got your 76ers who just they looked horrible in the regular season, and them and the Magic. You're still nervous, aren't you?
Well, what I told you, Andy, is I have absolutely no love lost for the man who is the owner of the 76ers. So I hesitate to claim them as my own, but I was saying to you, seeing Joel Embiid do push-ups in the paint after falling down last night, I mean, you gotta love the guy. It's been a fun little run, and who knows, they might just be live. We'll talk about that a little bit here on the show, Andy. A Friday edition of Wager Talk Today, and we are pumped to be here with you. We have a loaded show coming up at the top. Gianni the Greek is going to give you the steam report. What do you need to know heading into this weekend? To end the show, Marco D'Angelo is coming on. He'll give you a little Kentucky Derby thoughts, and where can you hear his race day thoughts? We'll tell you all about that. He's also got some first 5 wagers for you in Reds versus Pirates, Orioles, Yankees. Teddy Covers coming on in between all of that goodness, talking Pistons, Magic, Lakers, Rockets, a pair of game 6s you'll be getting best bets in right here live on the show. But Andy, a minute into the show, what do we like to do? The Wager Talk Today play of the day. Your price of admission, folks, hitting that like button, hitting subscribe. And Andy, comments that say, all I know is I bet your best bet 3 times, including on Boston University. When we lost, I lost all 3 times. Andy, on these plays, we are now 9-4, and I did not see any comments saying every time I bet your plays, I cash 9 of them. But you either bet them all or you fade them all. That's the way to do it. But 9-4, Andy, looking to cash another one here. And we're going with the most popular player ever in NBA history named D. Wade. And we're taking his 5 points over. So we're taking D. Wade, as everyone knows Dean Wade, as D. Wade. Why are we going over here, Andy?
Yeah, easy cash yesterday on Cameron Johnson. I told you that line was incredibly low. He hit the over by halftime. He doubled up the prop. So I'm not gonna cry over a winner. Let's just say I should have bet it bigger. So yeah, let's move to the Cavaliers and the Raptors here. Dean Wade, 5+ points, incredibly low total. But listen, he's had 5 or more in 4 out of the 5 games. He's had 7 points the last 2 games. Game 2 was the one he went under. He only made 1 shot, but the last 3 games, his attempts and his makes are up. Last 3 games, 2 of 5, 3 of 5. Last game, 3 of 10. And he has made 1 3-point shot in every game this series. That's why that's so huge when this number is 5. If you're guaranteed to make 1 3-pointer, you only need 1 more basket to get to this 5. A couple of free throws will get there. So if we think he's going to make 1 3-pointer, this is well within reach. Don't forget, he starts. So he's out there with all the starters, and he plays 21 minutes at the floor, at the minimum. So very, very low total, but these are the props that we love because nobody's talking about Dean Wade props. The books are not dialed. This number's not dialed in from the book's perspective. So this should be available. Dean Wade, 5+ points. That is your play of the day.
I love it, Andy. Let's do it. Dean Wade, 5 or more points. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. Also coming on the show, I was guest hosting on Puck Time with Carmine Bianco earlier today. That's another reason to subscribe here, folks. But there were folks in the chat there asking about, hey, nice UFC card. We need a UFC parlay. So on the show today, Andy will also craft a parlay for you coming up here, Andy. So have fun with that. Have fun with that, but it's coming your way. But right now, let's get the Steam report. Speaking of which, the Steam room this weekend will be free. Wager Talk TV right here. Gianni going to be with you, helping you cash tickets on Saturday, talk a little Derby, playoff action. But Gianni, how we doing on a Friday, brother?
Never better. Never better. Just running really good, man. You know, sitting where I am, top 5 in profit for the year. Continue to sit at number 1 in NBA playoffs. It's nothing to complain about. And we have a huge weekend ahead. A lot of elimination games today in the NHL and in the NBA. And those teams in this round definitely have an edge, meaning historically, the team up 3-2 closes it out in game 6 a lot more than extending it to a game 7. And in fact, we saw that yesterday with 2 out of the 3 series ending, with the Knicks advancing, Minnesota advancing, Philly forcing a game 7. And we have the same situation tonight. Cleveland could eliminate Toronto, Lakers could eliminate Houston, and Orlando can eliminate Detroit. Now, 2 of those elimination games are on the road, both Cleveland and the Lakers. Even so, historically, more times than not, those teams have been able to close it out on the road. Looking at the action so far, here's what we got. And it's no surprise. Sharps got out ahead of where the public action seems to be going. Here's what I got so far in the Steam sheet for you guys. Busy day, over 20 plus plays in there. They bet Cleveland immediately at 3.5 in the under 220. That's why you're looking at 4.5 right now and 218s. They took the 4.5 and the 4 on the Lakers, and they took the under 207 there also, and then laid the 3 on Detroit. So in short, they expect the Lakers to at least keep it within 2 buckets or close out the series. They expect Cleveland to close out the series, and they expect the Detroit and Orlando to go to a game 7. And I think most expected that, because on paper, at least, Detroit was the better team. But we talked about it in the Steam room. I wasn't so sure, and that's why we made some money on Orlando, because here's what my power ratings show. Detroit, 23rd offensively, 1st defensively. Orlando, 22nd offensively, 10th defensively. But here's the big difference. Detroit's strength of schedule, 29th in the NBA, compared to the 5th toughest schedule for Orlando. So that team played the 5th toughest schedule. No surprise, they weren't an easy out so far for Detroit. And you're seeing that a lot with the strength of schedule. The only ones that really were able to overcome it easily, not easily, but, went to 6 games, was the Knicks, who Atlanta had a top 5 strength of schedule. The Knicks had the 27th. But you're seeing it in Philadelphia and Boston with the extension. Why? Boston, they may be 1st defensively, 19th offensively, but they had the 30th toughest strength of schedule, a cakewalk the entire season, unlike the Sixers that had the 6th toughest strength of schedule. So you're seeing those teams that got tested during the regular season, at least on paper, it may have looked like a mismatch, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. But nothing could be further from the truth. And that's why we've seen not only the dogs cover in those series, but more importantly, the dogs getting it done on the money line. We talked about it yesterday. If you're going to be betting a dog, don't forget to sprinkle that money line. I did it with subscribers. I sent out a 4% on Minnesota and a 1% on Minnesota at plus 210. So I'm trying not to forget that if I'm on the dog, make sure I sprinkle a little something on the money line. And real quickly, the sharp plays that have been in the account are Detroit -4, Cleveland -4, Lakers +4. So right around there, they're still betting them. And then those both unders, Lakers under, Cleveland under. In the NHL, they're betting Buffalo to close it out at -115, and they're betting Utah even money to extend the series against Vegas. Again, no surprise that game series and matchup seems like a coin flip. So you're seeing some sharp money come in on Utah early. So that's the playoff action. And like you said, there's a lot of baseball today.
Yeah, we saw it again last night. These money line favorite parlays are just a disaster for bettors, and they're a home run for the books. And what'd you say yesterday, Gianni? Points are for pussies. You don't even need to bother about taking the points with the underdogs, man. I mean, these aren't just underdogs winning outright. That's a 13-point win for the 76ers. That's a 12-point win when you don't have 3 of your starters there.
And we talk about it all the time. How much and this is the perfect example of this shit ain't fixed. We find out about it when it is, but 99.5% of matchups, if not 99.9, aren't fixed. It's just more incompetence than corruption. And like you're seeing that play out. They're not even close to the spread. Like we always say, wow, how did Vegas get it right? when the game lands 3, when it closes 3 and the team wins by a field goal. And we're like, damn, how did they get it right? But look how off they truly are from what the betting line is. That's why teasers don't help you. The average NFL line, the close versus what actually happens is about 10 points off from the point spread to the final score. And that's why, again, it's an efficient market. They're very good at what they do, but the fact that they get 11-10 is why they're profitable. If they weren't getting that 11-10, rest assured that the tables would be turned. That's their saving grace, that we have to lay 11 to win 10 every time. And they could be wrong more than they have to be right and still be profitable. We have to be right more than we're wrong just to break even. We have to be really right more than we're wrong to be profitable. And again, that's what puts them at such an advantage. But the difference between the final score and the point spread and the line movement before the game starts shows you why these markets are still so inefficient and why you're seeing big money players looking at these exchanges and wondering, hey, is there enough liquidity for us to get involved and start playing as well? Because rest assured, dude, our sports betting market is less efficient than, let's say, the stock market or commodities market or crypto markets. It's just we don't have the liquidity to, bring over those kind of players, and we're lucky so far. But these lines aren't even close, bro. Don't be afraid to take the money line dog. Stop parlaying those big favorites. There's no value in them. Again, the laying minus 400s, 3-team parlays is the quickest way to go broke.
I mean, can you imagine if the spreads last night would have been Knicks minus 49.5, 76ers minus 12.
Money. Yeah.
Timberwolves missing 3 starters. They'll be minus 11.5. So wild times. Let's move to MLB here. Interesting what you see. Only 1-day game. It's Diamondbacks and Cubs, so we got plenty of time in the day. What are you seeing so far early?
All right. Like I said, there's like 20 moves, sides, and totals. I'll read off a handful of sides, handful of totals for you. Let me give you the dogs. 906 Washington plus 145 and 140. 910 St. Louis plus 160 plus 155. 912 Colorado plus 170. 920 Minnesota plus 110. 923 Kansas City plus 125. Arizona 901 plus 140. That's the late move. Remember, early Cubs got steamed, but eventually the value switches. Again, that's the difference between betting teams and betting numbers. Yes, Cubs at minus 110 probably was a good bet. Obviously, they're going to get a lot of CLV, so they did their job. But where it sits now, that's a whole different ball game, and we're on the dog there at Arizona plus 140, and then 903 Cincinnati plus 120. Couple totals for you real quick. Under 8.5, Milwaukee, Washington. Bringing that one up because there's a ton of over money from the public. 910 under Dodgers, St. Louis, and then 916 under 9 Baltimore Yankees, and 8.5. That's why I'm bringing that one up. And the only reason that line hasn't moved even significantly more, considering they're taking the second number, the 8.5, after it's getting the 9, is because of the overwhelming over money that's not already bet, but that's expected from the recreational bettors. Like, they're going to be betting Baltimore Yankees over, so that's going to help limit the risk that the early sharp money that came in on under 9 and 8.5 puts risk on the book. So there's some baseball for you. Like I said, it's a huge slate and a lot of movement,
All right. You said you're going to keep looking at UFC. It looks like everybody made it through weigh-ins. I saw the face-offs. I didn't see anything that jumped out. Looks like everybody's going to be good. So anything you're seeing before you finalize everything for tomorrow?
No, here's the thing. I if I was betting my opinions, I'd have a handful of plays because I see on paper who should win. The problem is I have to base that on the betting line. What is my implied win probability compared to what the betting line is? And that's the problem I'm having. Like, I want to bet Tafa. Obviously, that's a good spot for him. But the price is what's holding me off. There's a couple spots like that. They're Tuivasa, Tafa, Tuivasa. Those are favorites that should get the job done. They should win, but there's just no line value. Perisic over Gaziev. I like that one. But again, the problem I'm having is identifying line value, and I just can't force myself to bet my prediction. Fortunately, that's a good thing because my predictions aren't really that good. So the only bet that I've placed so far, and I'll share that right now because I still have work to do and go through with my originator fight by fight, is Madeleine over Prades. I talked about that yesterday where I just thought strength of schedule, nod Jack Della, and then coming off the Makachev fight. Like, this is a step down after preparing for Makachev. Again, if his chin holds up, he should land more and get a decision. But, we'll see. It's a tough UFC card. Great to watch it as a fan. But as far as value goes, I just haven't been able to uncover it. So I'm not going to force anything. Having a good year. So not going to force.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, having a good year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, you mentioned you have a huge Steam sheet. What do you have up for everyone today?
I have the Steam sheets up. I'll also have the NBA package because I do have confirmed leans. The only decision I had to make is whether I'm going to fire 5%. I've been staying consistent with 4% and just adding like 1% on the money line just to keep my subscribers, my partners in this venture in check. So check back within 60 minutes. The NBA package will be up. Major League Baseball, we have late games. So if I could confirm some 4%, they'll be in there as well. Otherwise, it'll just be to subscribers already sent some baseball. There's soccer. Don't forget, free soccer is up. I've given out 6 premium plays over the next 2 or 3 days. There are a lot of soccer matchups. At least half of them are for free at WagerTalk. Steam Room's free tomorrow. Join me. I'll answer every single question you have and go over every single matchup in the playoffs and go over baseball as well. And best of luck to all this weekend. Keep doing damage and keep grinding, baby.
We love it, Gianni. And Andy, you're muted there. But Gianni, appreciate you, man. Again, like he said, Steam Room going to be free this Saturday. All you got to do, hit that like button and subscribe right here at the channel. And Andy, I'm sure you were saying something extremely profound to our man, Gianni.
I just realized something. When you touch a certain part of your AirPod, it mutes the mic on StreamYard.
Yeah.
I just now realized that. I'm just now realizing that if you touch it,
isn't technology awesome, Andy? You adjust your ear, and then I'm muted. Yeah, exactly. And speaking, what do we got rocking here tonight, Andy?
Well, we got some questions here in the chat. Any thoughts on Red Sox? I was actually looking hard at the Red Sox over their team total. Burrows has not been great, but it's Red Sox. In the end, I did not get there on anything with the Red Sox. When you look at Burrow's game log, he got tuned up against Seattle pretty bad, and then St. Louis, 4.2 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. He wasn't terrible against the Yankees, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, but I was looking at doing something with the Red Sox, but they got it at 4.5, and I don't like 4.5.
Yeah, that's tough.
King Cabana, check DeAndre Ayton points and rebounds over 20.5. I agree. DeAndre Ayton has looked really good. And this is one of those where he has to play. They don't have any, like Jackson Hayes is awful. So he kind of has to play a lot. So he's getting there hooker by crook. And Brian brings up, I've noticed this one. Tobias Harris covered his number and they just keep listing questionable and he just keeps playing and he keeps going over. So those are some really good thoughts there in the chat. So do you want to try? You can tell everyone about the UFC parlay question you got on the hockey show, but I can do one.
Yeah, so I was filling in, and on an NHL show, we're always watching the comments, no matter what the show is on. We appreciate you guys, whether you're tuning live or afterwards. We're always checking out the comment section. And one of the comments on an NHL show was, "What are we betting in UFC this weekend?" And I said, "Hey, in about 45 minutes, we're gonna have UFC covered for you." Andy is a terrific UFC handicapper. I know you're not in love with betting it.
No, he's not this year.
Yeah, well, I was about to say. You're not in love with betting it pre-flop because since this whole kind of shakeup in UFC, it used to be a cash cow for us and our team, and it's kind of been anything but. So we've decided, hey, let's scale back on it. But if you guys want UFC parlays for free here, we'll do it, Andy. So what did you cook up for the folks? We love the commenters, so keep them coming. What do we got here, brother?
All right, tread lightly. My UFC picks have been terrible, so I'm going to be paper trading for the next month and see if we can get back on track. Let's go back to our roots. Let's do a violence parlay. Let's just take a bunch of fights to not go the distance. Junior Taffa and Kevin Christian, not to go the distance. Junior Taffa is a gas bag. He's got one round of KO power, and then he just falls apart and gets exhausted and gives up. And Kevin Christian is a maniac. He fights just wild style. I don't see how this thing goes the distance. This has got round 1 or round 2 knockout over. I would even take this thing doesn't start round 3. Jacob Malkoun and Gerald Meerschaert. Meerschaert's coming up on 60 fights as a pro, 60, and he's not good. He's old. He's past his prime. And Jacob Malkoun needs to make some waves. He's stronger. He's younger. And Gerald Meerschaert's only path to victory, literally his only path to victory, is to try and get a submission. But Jacob Malkoun can wrestle. So I think this is just an older fighter that is on the verge of retirement. I think he's trying to get to 60 pro fights, but this probably doesn't end well. Rahiki versus Ali Schmidt. This was a late edition ad. If you haven't seen Rahiki fight, buckle up. And this Ali Schmidt, they're serving this kid up on a silver platter. I feel bad for Ali Schmidt, what's getting ready to happen to him. He's going to get blasted. Rahiki doesn't have great striking defense, so there's an outside chance that Schmid catches him, regardless, not going the distance. And then Shamil Gaziev and Brando Pericic will not go the distance. Pericic is kind of a younger UFC fighter. Well, he's not young, but he's new to UFC, and he comes out guns a-blazing. He's knocked out lots of guys, and Shamil Gaziev got knocked out in his last fight, but Pericic can gas in the second round. So if he doesn't get Gaziev out of there, Gaziev will wrestle and probably get the ground and pound finish. So tread lightly. My UFC picks have not been that great, but let's have a little fun with a violence parlay.
I love it. It's been a while since we did a little There Will Be Blood special. So yeah, let's get a little violence parlay there, Andy. And let's bring in our man, or actually real quick, Teddy Covers coming up, 2 NBA plays coming your way. Andy, what do we got rocking for the clients tonight? And then we'll break down some NBA here with Teddy Covers.
Yeah, the playoff run in NBA and NHL continues. Clean sweep in both sports last night, 3-0 for everyone that joined us. So appreciate that. You went 1-1 in lacrosse, no biggie, but the standard you have set is now everyone's like, what? 1-1?
I know. I got a message that I was when Cleveland State. So we lost the early game. We won the second game. And I got a message that Cleveland State has resurrected Lax Jesus, who I have not named. This is what I have been named by people in the DMs and on Twitter. But yeah, Andy, it's nice when you can go 1-1 and people are like, dude, what the hell? So, hey, you could call it bounce back mode. But Andy, we got to play rockin' tonight that we love. ACC Action, team that we've been capping really well. You can read the write-up over at Andy's page. Best bet will be tacked on to any of the packages that you get, WT.buzz/AL. So that's the way to get into it, man.
Yeah, and it's one pack with all of our plays. I think there's like 6 of them in there. There's a 4% NBA, your 4% lacrosse, and we've got a couple of NBA and NHL plays added in there as well. So it's a huge, huge Friday. And we do have some specials that just got announced for May. So if you don't have that graphic, 3-day pass has been discounted down to $49. We've got a 30-day special. First off, we're going to knock off $100 on 30 days, and then you're going to get 10 days. So you're basically getting a $238 discount for 40 days. And then it's time of year where we run our year value, 1 year of an all-inclusive pass. A normal 30-day pass is like $299. We're discounting it down to $99, and you get that 25% bonus coupon that you can use on any capper, any play, anything you want. So if you're interested in long-term investment, which is always what I recommend, this is the time of year to do it. It's $100 a month. And, for example, you invest in Teddy, you're going to get every single one of his plays, every single sport, all 5% plays. Marco, the same goes for myself. You get myself as well as all of our plays from the team. So a lot of really good specials. Those just went up. So you're looking for specials. Now's a great time to take advantage of that.
Yep.
I got a shout out to Rob. Rob is greetings from Kentucky. Oh, it's attending 25 consecutive Kentucky games. 25 consecutive. Awesome.
So
stuff,
of the
Rob.
152 that there have been, or will be coming this Saturday, attending 25 of them, man. Mint juleps on our man Rob there. That's for sure. And for you Derby bettors, Marco D'Angelo coming up after we talk to Teddy Covers. He'll give some thoughts on the Kentucky Derby, let you know with the videos that are on the channel now and where you can find them tomorrow. But without any further ado, Teddy Covers in the house, baby. Let's talk a little NBA action. Teddy, how we doing on this Friday, man?
Well, so I've had a good playoffs, but I had a crappy night last night. So unfortunately, I was locked and loaded with a big play on the Denver Nuggets, who basically didn't show up. And that was one team wanted it more than the other team, and I didn't see that coming for that game. And then the post-game comments from Joker saying, "Hey, we're not good enough." We clearly, that was like, well, I wish you'd have said that before the freaking game.
Right.
That said, we're still, I'm I think 68% across all sports the last 2 weeks. So last night lost, we're all doing transparency at WagerTalk. Last night I sucked, but we've been pretty good the last couple of weeks. See if we can keep it rolling.
Yeah, 68%. You're forgiven. You're forgiven to have an off night. So, I would love to talk about the 76ers and the Nuggets. Where do they go from here? But we need to break down a couple games here real quick and then see if we can get your thoughts here. We got Pistons and Magic, Lakers and Rockets. We're going to start with this Pistons and Magic game. They still have Detroit as the favorite here, -4 over under 210. The books are not coming off this Detroit is going to be the favorite. How do you break this game down?
So I did a video right before the playoffs started where I gave Teddy's top 5 tips for betting the NBA postseason. And one of those tips was when a series is mispriced in game 1, it's going to be mispriced the whole way. And this series has felt that way. When we think about Orlando's full season, remember, this team was lined at 51.5 wins coming into the campaign. Only the Cavs and the Knicks were lined higher in the Eastern Conference, whereas Detroit was lined at 46.5 wins. So coming into the season, Orlando was thought to be the better of these two teams. Here in the postseason, we have a big 4 for Orlando. Banchero, Wagner, Bane, and Suggs. A big 3, even with Wagner out. And that certainly has affected this point spread, as you mentioned on the Odds Logic live odds screen, with Detroit -3.5/ -4. Road chalk. It is worth noting that Orlando is still favored to win the series. If you think the Magic are going to win one of the next 2 games, -135 range for Orlando just to win one of the next 2. Obviously, you get a plus price on the Pistons. And obviously, if Detroit wins game 6, they will be favored at home in game number 7. It is worth noting Wagner hurt out for tonight, and he was the primary defender for extended stretches for Cade Cunningham the first 4 games. Wagner got hurt. Cunningham went nuts with a 45-point performance in game number 5, a difference maker in that ballgame. Of course, Banchero had a 45-point performance as well in that contest. But when you read the quotes coming out of these 2 locker rooms, it's hard to make a case. It really is hard for me to make a case for a side in this ballgame. I believe Detroit has been a character team all year. I believe in the Pistons with their back against the wall. This is the team you want with their back against the wall. And, Bickerstaff even said it. When our backs are against the wall, we come out swinging. The spirit carries over. The want to not to let your teammates down carries over. We got a locker room full of guys that feel that way until the fat ladies until that fat lady starts singing. We've got life. Now we got to go to Orlando, get 1 win there. We won on the road before. It's a simple formula for us. Stay in the moment, stay present, take it 1 game at a time. That's as bet on as a quote as I'm going to see this time of the year and then the postseason. That said, Mosley, he's saying the right things too. Sense of urgency, sense of taking care of things at home with the way we know how to play at home in front of our fans, that energy, that excitement in the building. We got to make sure we're doing the smart version of it. It's not about hitting home runs, it's about hitting singles all night long. That's doing the little things, the box out, the free throws being made. Our defense is what's going to be key for us. Bickerstaff, there's room for improvement after game 5. Both quotes, all the quotes are bet on, bet on, bet on. Both teams in my mind, bet on, bet on, bet on. What do you do in this spot? What do we expect in elimination games? The defense is going to be there. All right. The intensity is going to be there. Not going to overthink this. Under. Pistons. Magic. And again, 210, the prevailing number. You can find 210.5 if you shop around. I'm not expecting a foul fest. I'm not expecting a whole lot of open looks for either of these two teams. Let's expect a low-scoring affair in this elimination game tonight and take under Magic and Pistons.
We got to move on to the Lakers and the Rockets becoming one of the more polarizing series here. And you're so right, Teddy. Like if it's mispriced game one, it's good. Like they just got to stick to their guns here. Houston minus 3.5, over under 205.5. This number just keeps every game. They're just like, they're not scoring. They're not scoring. They're not scoring. Now this is just an incredibly low number. What do you make of this Rockets team? No Durant. Reeves came back, looked okay, 34 minutes off the bench. What do you make of this game?
I think that the winner of this series is not going to win the next series.
bold
hot take alert.
Yeah. So, and again, look at the odds logic live odds screen right now. Houston 3.5 at home. And again, the Lakers were in this same range in game 5. So the markets are now saying these two teams are basically even. With Durant out and with Luka out, they're saying, maybe the Rockets are a little bit better, but not a whole lot better. Even though, obviously, in the early in the series, we had Houston laying a price when they were playing in LA. And LA won those first 2 games at home. Then they stole game 3. I mean, Houston melted down in the last 40 seconds. But the last 2 games, really the last 3 games, the Rockets have clearly been the better team, even without Durant in the lineup. And if it wasn't for that final meltdown over the last 40 seconds, Houston would be in position to clinch this series at home tonight. The return of Austin Reeves did not make the Lakers any better. They were slightly out of sync on both ends of the court, and particularly on the defensive end of the court. It certainly was not the Lakers' best performance in game number 5. You know, and we talked about all the learning curves for Houston. And Houston right now is a really young lineup, unbelievably young lineup. You know, one of the youngest in playoff history. When you talk about Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Sengun, and Tari Eason, second youngest lineup in postseason were first since they were first tracked more than 50 years ago with Durant sitting. And we heard a lot of quotes from Udoka, hey, our team's got to grow up a little bit. Well, they did, and they have, certainly over the last couple of games. Jabari Smith saying that we're obviously the better team, I feel like, and then he backed it up. You know, quote, I don't care who we play. I don't care what team I'm on. When I was winning 22 games, I'd probably say we're the better team every night. I mean, people are going to take how they want to take it, but I don't care. All right. Very young Houston team facing a Lakers team that has a little bit of desperation right now. Austin Reeves, you know, quote, I hadn't played in a month, unfortunately. It's hard to emulate real basketball reps, even if you're doing it in practice. It's really hard to get the same feel. So, yeah, I get a little tired in the second half, but it's something I got to push through. I don't have the liberty to play a couple of warm-up games. I got tossed back in the fire on Friday. Hopefully, we'll have a better result. This sure feels like it's going to go 7, doesn't it? It feels like that way to me. And we've seen, again, it was just a couple of years ago where the Heat led Boston 3-0. And then all of a sudden that series went to game 7. It kind of feels like that to me. If I'm playing, I'm laying. Rockets or pass. I think we'll see one more game on Sunday for these two teams to play for all the marbles.
Wonder what the average age would be if you added Durant. Would they go from like the youngest team to like not even in the top 20?
The middle, yeah.
With one guy.
One move.
Added to later. Roy is asking, when is Luka back? The only thing I saw was yesterday they posted he may not come back until game 3 or 4 of the next series.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
And that's a best case scenario.
Yeah, that feels aggressive.
Yeah, I would not expect to see Luka. I don't expect the Lakers to win the next series. If they win this one, I don't expect to see Luka again this year. If we do, it'll be when the Lakers are facing a deficit.
Yeah. So, real quick here, Teddy, thoughts on 76ers, Celtics? I like the 76ers a little bit yesterday. I certainly didn't expect that kind of performance, but Embiid, Paul George, they just look a little bit good. And then Tatum goes out with a little bit of an injury. Are you sounding the alarms if you're a Boston fan?
Yeah, sure you are. So there was a Jaylen Brown quote after game 4. that he said, we just got to win one of the next three. And if ever there's like, that's one of those quotes that just jumps because you're like, no, we're going to close out this game in game 5 tonight. That's the quote you're looking for. When you're like, oh, we got to win one of the next three. Guess what? You're playing 3 games now instead of playing 1. And again, we talk about teams being an undervalued commodity. Like Orlando is a team that was lined at 51.5 wins coming into the season, underachieved all year, but the playoffs roll around and all of a sudden they're like, hey, this team's better than their record would indicate. Philadelphia is absolutely that team. All right. The Celtics overachieved all regular season. The 76ers underachieved all regular season. Regular season's over now.
Yeah. There's a chance the Thunder and Spurs just waltz into this Western Conference final. This depleted Minnesota team, this Lakers and Rockets. So that could be pretty fun, though. You get those two teams at 100% health. So we'll see. What do you have up for everybody, Teddy? Bounce Back Friday. Let's do this.
Yeah, I have a 3-pack up and available right now. The baseball has been great. 14-4 of the last 18 MLBs, and I'm 67% in MLB, counting every play since last September. So it's really been good. And of course, even with the loss last night, still 60% here in the NBA, or right in a 60% NBA playoff run. Certainly no disappointing result last night, but no disaster for the clients. Not even close. They've been making money. So 3-pack up for tonight, 1 in the NBA, 2 in MLB. Check it out right now on my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. Let's see if we can make some money. But really, don't buy a play. The packages you were talking about, that buy 3-day package is a great deal. What was the summer deal that you were talking about? Buy 30 days and get 10 free and take $100 off. That's a good deal. Check it out right now. wt.buzz/TC.
Yeah, it's like double coupon day. You get $100
Yeah, no,
off.
you're not kidding.
Yeah. Free toaster oven. We are one step away from giving out knives or a toaster oven.
Yeah, I got a slap chop downstairs. If you guys want it, I'll pull out my slap chop and we'll throw in a sham wow. But all joking aside, man, that extra 10 days is huge when you're talking playoff time right now. Going to get you action, through the playoffs, get you ready to go. So Teddy, best of luck. Always a pleasure, my friend, and we'll see you next week, man.
Cheers, guys. Have a great day.
There we go. The Wager Talk mug that all the comments whenever Teddy whips that thing out. And I realized probably could have phrased that a little better. But every time Teddy whips that thing out, man, we get a lot of comments on where people can get it. So you can share it below. Do you appreciate it when Teddy whips that thing out? Let us know in the comments. And what a segue. I know that Marco's like, Dan, you're a sick mother effer for many a reasons. None more so than that. Marco D'Angelo coming on just a minute. Guys, if you want to get Marco's true Derby thoughts, we have a show that he he just did. Yeah, the comments coming in. Pause. My thoughts exactly. Yes, I have a way with words. I am a cunning linguist, after all, Andy. But if you want Marco's true Derby thoughts, guys, video on our channel right now. That Marco, it's 6 horses that he thinks show some value. And Andy, on this video, we already have 90,000 views.
Are you serious?
90,000 views for Marco's Derby video. We have multiple other the best Derby bets that you got. If you're betting the Derby, watch this first. That's our kind of Pony Pundit show, and Marco will be on tomorrow's show as well for last call. He's going to come on and break down, if there's any scratches, things like that.
Well, someone asked me about it. Jan was asking me. So Jan is kind of like Marco, that Jan has grown up with horses. Like he has been around him and everything. And so he was asking about Marco. And I was like, well, yeah, his video's doing incredibly well because everyone knows he's been doing this forever. And he's like one of the true actual horse handicappers that's been doing it forever. Yes. So yeah, people
who not only and we talked about this, Andy, right at the top, where it's like not only does he eat, sleep, breathe it, you know what I mean? He also owns horses, so he sees it from a different perspective. So the reputation preceding him. Let's get to it. Marco D'Angelo joining on in here, Marco, and I was sharing that if people want, a early breakdown on the Derby, You know that your video, Marco, is currently approaching 90,000 views. You might be setting a Wager Talk record, my man. How you doing heading into Derby weekend?
Well, I already asked Gianni what the record is. Now, evergreen videos that have been up there forever have beaten that. But anything with that's got a shelf life, a weekly show, like Bet On It or something. We did top the Bet On It episode. We had one that was over 70,000. So I'm pretty proud of that.
And Marco, it's because the production quality is great. Our man John Hoagland does a terrific job with these videos that he's doing with you. But on the other side of that coin it's damn good information. You know what I mean? Like, views just don't happen. It's because, Marco's giving you really good information. He's letting you know, here's how I'm going to be handicapping. Yes, the client plays are up right now. The true card that Marco is going to be walking to the counter and placing that you can place alongside, that's for the clients. But the info that you're given, man, between that and our Pony Pundit show that also is doing great, it's invaluable. And guys, if you're watching this for the first time, if you've never bought from Wager Talk before, Marco, right at the top, I want to give this one because it's a no freaking brainer. $2. Yeah, everybody talks about $5 Tuesday. Everyone wants to save money. If you've never bought from Wager Talk before, you can get the entire Derby card for $2. It's new users only, Marco. But I mean, did Gianni have to talk you into this one? $2 for the whole damn card, Marco? What are we doing here, man?
Well, he wanted to do a special, and Ralph was involved in it too. And I said, well, all right, let's go for the gusto. And I said, let's make it $2. And why we picked $2 for it? Well, that's, anybody that goes to the track, that's the minimum bet. You can make a $2 win ticket. So for the price of one win ticket, you can get my entire card on Saturday if you're a first-time buyer. We're selling that package for $39, guys. So you get it for $2. And not only are you going to get my horse racing stuff for Saturday, the Kentucky Derby, and I'll have a few other of the races on the Saturday card, but you're going to get all of our sports plays on Saturday as well. Whatever I release in baseball, basketball, and hockey, whatever my card is, it's going to be included in this package. And guys, last 3 months, we're number one in money won at Wager Talk. So it's an absolute no-brainer. If you have already bought from Wager Talk, I got a deal for you guys too. You talked about the specials that we got going. If you just want Saturday and you want to save $10, you can use Derby 10. And hopefully we can have a Kentucky Derby like we had a few years ago when we turned a $390 investment in bets into just under $9,000 that day. And it was a fun, and that was just the Derby. So let's see what we can do. Excited about it. I think this is a wide open Kentucky Derby this year. I can legitimately make a case for 6 or 7 horses that could win the race. But what that does is it creates value for betting the race with the exotics, the exactas, the tries. If you play daily doubles from, the previous race into the Derby, just creates a lot of value, because what I tell people all the time, that if you're new to betting horses, you're not betting against the house like you do in sports, okay? They put a number up, you get that number, and it's you against the bookmaker. In horse racing, it's you against everybody else, okay? The house takes a hold. That's, their commission or rake, whatever you want to call it, for taking the bets. But then the rest of the money is divided amongst the winning tickets. And I'm sorry, I feel I've got an edge and a big edge over probably 80% of the people that are going to be betting the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, because it's an event. People want to be involved. It's the same way with the Super Bowl, with prop bets and stuff. People that never bet all year go nuts on that one day because it's a party. They want to be a part of it. And who doesn't?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, that's what I help produce Pony Pundits. I watch the videos, Marco, but I am no horse expert. That's why I lean on guys like you and John Alvarez, because I want to bet the freaking Derby. So yeah, no brainer if you haven't bought before, and if you have, use that Derby 10. Real quick, we do have 2 MLB plays that you're going. We have 2 first 5 wagers that Marco has for you. And Marco, I do want to let folks know, closer to post, Marco will be live here on Wager Talk's last call on Saturday. He'll be the last guest on that show. So 11 a.m., Kelly Stewart, she's going to be hosting. We got NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and then we're going to end the show with Marco giving his final thoughts leading up to the 152nd running. But real quick, just one question on the Derby before we turn it over to the Diamond. Any thought here? I know this, starts affecting how you see tickets, but you gave a great tip on how to attack when these scratches start rolling in on that Pony Pundit show. Any thoughts just here on a Friday as we head towards Derby weekend regarding scratches, how to bet them, or the specific ones that we've seen thus far?
I can tell you, when we had that first scratch the other day, and Great White moved into the Derby, that was a situation, and we actually did a video on this, that he has some gate speed. So that helps set up faster first quarter horses trying to get position. In the Derby, if you like a closer, you want to see fast fractions at the beginning of the race. That's going to benefit the closers. So that scratch in the addition of Great White helped all of the stalkers and closers in the race. But what it did do, and I know our good friend Kelly was not happy about it, because when there was the scratch, all the other horses outside of where the horse that was scratched was move in one post position in the gate. So that moved Kelly's horse further ado from, he keeps the same betting number 18, but he was going to break from post 17. And well, as we all know, post 17 is the one post position in the Kentucky Derby, in the history of the Kentucky Derby, that has not produced a winner yet. Well, good for Kelly. There was a scratch today that moved further ado from gate 17 to gate 16. So doesn't have to worry about that. Never won from post 17 jinx. For
and let's be real, Marco, if there's anyone who cares about that, it's Kelly. So I'm sure she was fist bumping the air being like, hey, I'm not at the cursed post anymore.
I won't say when I texted her that she inherited post 17, what the text reply was back.
Oh, I can only,
we are a family show.
That's for damn sure, Marco. All right, let's talk this Reds and Pittsburgh. Your Pittsburgh Pirates, as the Reds heading into May, sitting pretty. Sitting atop the National League Central standings. They're facing off in Pittsburgh, starting off, and should be a pretty nice day at the ballpark, Marco. I'm wondering how you're looking to attack this. I know both of these games, you don't want anything to do with the bullpen. So let's talk some first 5 action between the Reds and the Pirates. How are you betting it, Marco?
Yeah, and here's the situation with Pittsburgh. They're not playing well right now, okay? They've lost 5 in a row. I get that. And so sometimes whenever I look at a team and they're losing, but I like them in the game, it's another reason for me to look at first 5 because, when things aren't going well, sometimes – they might be getting that pitching performance that you expected, and then all of a sudden you turn it over to the bullpen and oops, you blow a lead and, you lose a game. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking first 5 innings. But let's break it down. Cincinnati's going to send Brady Singer to the mound. His last 3 starts, if you just look at it on the surface, he's only allowed a total of 6 runs in 3 starts. That's okay. But if you break it down a little bit further, in those 17 innings of work, his strikeout to walk ratio was just 6-4. That's not a good strikeout to walk ratio. It tells me that he wasn't dominant with his pitching, with his pitches. He wasn't fooling the hitters with just 6 strikeouts over 17 innings. And I don't like, the high number of walks there. So this is a guy that, you'd have to say was getting lucky in those starts. Now, on the other side of the coin, we got Mitch Keller going for the Pirates. And he's been one of the more consistent guys for the Pirates this season. In 5 of his 6 starts, he's allowed 3 runs or less, and the majority of them have been 2 runs or less. So I am going to go ahead and back him here. I think he is going to outpitch Singer over 5 innings. And why complicate it? Let's not have the bullpens involved. Let's just take the 2 pitchers where I think that's the better edge. And I'm going to take Mitch Keller. He is the veteran of the starting rotation. You've got Skeens, the Cy Young winner, no question about that, but he's not having that dominant year that he's normally had. He's had a couple rough outings. Yesterday was not, good. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning. But Keller's been that guy that's anchored it down for them, and I think he stops this streak today. I don't mind Pittsburgh for the game, but I like them a heck of a lot better first 5, and that's the route I'm going with this one.
Yeah, I like it. Anytime we're cutting out the bullpens, just having a handicap half the game, it makes I like cutting those wagers in half for sure. All right, let's talk O's and Yankees, because the O's desperately need to start going on a run, man. I mean, the start to the season, ho-hum doesn't even begin to describe how it's been for them. They end April 15-16, just winning 6 of their last 15 games. And now they get to face off against the first place Yankees. Not only right now, Marco, they're going to be facing over these next 2 weeks the Yankees in 7 games. So when you're trying to gasp for, grab for straws here, like the Orioles are looking to do, going up against a red hot Yankees team, probably not the best way to do it. Do you think they finally find some footing, or is this just Yankees started off hot and likely continue hot? What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, I think the Yankees got it rolling right now. Now, guys, they are returning from a 9-game road trip. And I've talked about it many times on here. I'm on here on Friday, so it's always the start of a new series. And a lot of times you're going to have teams change, obviously changing cities, but you get a lot of teams returning home. And I like to fade those type of teams in most instances. But I will point out the Yankees were on a 9-game road trip, and I would love generally to jump in front of them. But there's 2 things. One, they're on a red hot roll. And 2, they did have yesterday off. That's key. When you return home off those road trips and you don't have that day off to settle in, and what I mean by settling in, I'm talking about take care of things at home, okay? You got a wife, a girlfriend, kids, whatever. They haven't seen you. You've been on the road, for a week and a half if you've been on a 3-city road trip like the Yankees were. So they got that out of the way yesterday. And then couple that with the way they're playing, and couple that with the way Baltimore's playing, to me, it's, don't overthink it. Let's ride the Yankees. Baltimore, things aren't going good. They haven't even committed to who's starting tonight. Last I looked, they were still undecided on, who's going to, get the ball tonight to start this game. But we do know who's going for the Yankees. And that is going to be Will Warren. And, he's been in the zone. He's made 6 starts this year and is yet to allow more than 2 runs in any start. And if you look at his last 2 starts, he's gone 13 innings. He allowed 4 runs total in those 13 innings of work. But here's the difference. We talked about strikeout to walk ratio in the last game we broke down. His strikeout to walk ratio in 13 innings of work is 17-1, okay? When you've got that many strikeouts and very few walks, that tells me you are in full command of every pitch in your arsenal and you're fooling the hitters. So let's make this simple, okay? Here's another one where we're going they're a big number. We don't want to lay 175, 180 with this team. So let's get them down where it's a manageable number. And how do we do that? We go first 5 innings and we lay a half a run. If we think those Yankee bats are going to outperform the Baltimore bats in this one, then I have no problem laying that half a run. And the way he's pitching, I've got no problem with it. And here's a quirky stat. It's one of those ones where you say, this really doesn't make much sense. But I can tell you that the Yankees, for whatever reason, when Warren's on the mound and they're a favorite in that minus 125 to 175 zone, where right now they're between 175 and 80. So they're right on the cusp of it. This team just scores him runs. It's amazing how some pitchers just get a tremendous run support while others don't. They're averaging in that situation 7.3 runs per game going back to last year when he starts in this price range. So you know what? They're going to get him some run support. He's pitching well. Baltimore's a mess. The Yankees are hot. Let's lay a half a run first 5, guys.
Boom, lay the half a run. And Marco, I'm glad you bring up quirky stats, because I did just want to circle back real quick before we talk about what you have up other than those derby things. We talked about that cursed post 17, and we had a message. Any opinion or thoughts of why? I mean, again, quirky stat. It's fun, water cooler stat, but is there anything behind why post 17 hasn't won, or is it just one of those things?
It's just one of those things. First of all, guys, the further you get outside, the less number of horses started out of that gate, because going back, to the early years of the Kentucky Derby, we didn't have 20 horses in the field all the time. So obviously, when you don't have full 20 horse fields, you might not have a horse even in post 17. So they've got less opportunities. Post 1, that makes a lot of sense. That's a post nobody wants, because everybody leaves from the outside. And if you're not good off the gate, you're going to get swallowed up at the rail. We understand that one. But from post 17, if you have a speed horse, that's where you want to be. You want to be outside. Now, one of the reasons I think that is another problem of that, if you remember, prior to 2020, the Kentucky Derby starting gate, they didn't have a gate that housed all 20 horses. They had 2 gates. They had a main gate that had 16 gates in it, positions, and then they had what was called an auxiliary gate, which had they went to 15, and then it was 16 to 20. So there was a gap between 15 and 16. What happened so many times coming out of the gate, and I think might have compromised some of the horses in 17, because there was a gap. If the 15 horse broke wide and bumped the 16, guess what happened? The 16 bumped into the 17. Gotcha. Because there was such a gap between the 2 auxiliary gates. So I think that might have had something to do with it in a few of the years, and then just dumb luck. Slow horses drew post 17.
Well,
let me tell you this much: if Further Ado was still in post 17, wasn't going to bother me at all. I was using Further Ado on my tickets, and still will be using, and I don't have to worry about the curse of post 17.
I think you just cursed the curse. I'm betting post 17 from now until the rest of my life. It's gonna happen. It's an unsustainable streak. It's gonna happen.
That's the biggest Andy bet I've ever heard in my life, is that he just said, "All right, who's in post 17? We're fading it," and I love it. I love Andy. The modicum of consistency when it comes to those type of fades. So I love it. Marco, real quick on the way out, this great special that we have here to kick off May. A lot of folks are going to take advantage of this one. 100 days off, 30 days of all access, plus we're going to tack on a 10 days free. So $40 of access when you're already getting that 30 for 100 off. This is a great deal to kick off May as we head into the dog days of summer. It ain't slowing down for guys like Marco.
No, not at all. And you get this one with 30 days. Well, you're going to get the Derby package Saturday. Yep. You're going to get the Preakness in 2 weeks. And then with those 10 bonus days, damn, you're going to get the Belmont too. So jump on it right now. That's the way to go. It's the great deal. And if you can't go for the full month, we've got 3 days for $49. Don't forget that one too. That's normally $69. You can pick up a 3-day package, which, if you do it today, you're going to get all of my Kentucky Oaks selections. And I actually have 3 or 4 other races on the undercard. There's some horses I like on today's card, along with my sports plays today. Saturday, you know what you get in the Derby and everything else. And then, of course, Sunday close out, the weekend. There's no better time to buy a 3-day all access when it gets you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come on, guys. Be that weekend warrior and get out there and have some fun and make some money. That's what's really fun.
Absolutely, Marco. And Marco will be back 11 a.m. tomorrow. He's the last guest on Last Call. So, Marco, we like you going. I appreciate you going overtime here on one of your favorite weekends of the year. Best of luck in the Derby. Best of luck in the Oaks. And we'll see you next week, brother. Thank you.
All right, guys. Let's cash some tickets.
Yes, sir. Marco D'Angelo, WT.Buzz /MD is where you can get that 3-day all access discounted or those 40 days discounted. So, Andy, great deals heading into the weekend. A great show here on Friday heading into the weekend. The question of the day, Andy, is obviously, what horse are you betting in the Derby? You can only pick one. Comment below. For me,
Oh, yeah.
I'm stealing Marco's. Give me Chief Wallaby. The name is great. It sets up really nicely for him in this race. So give me Chief Wallaby outright. That's my Derby winner, Andy.
Okay. I've got post 17.
Post 17. Who's ever in post 17?
I don't care who's in it when they leave the gates. Whoever's in post 17, that's my bet.
If you made it this far, comment below. Let us know which horse are you betting in the Derby. You only get one pick, and use your WagerTalk username with that. Maybe on Monday we'll give you a free 3-day flex pass if your horse wins. Andy, hour into the show, let's get some folks some winners all around the world. What do we got, brother?
Well, real quick, Roy, I believe you're in the chat. Roy, you and I went head-to-head.
Oh, yeah.
76ers got me the win. So the nice thing is we started a 3-day pass special today, so it's already discounted down. Appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you having the onions to go head to head. A lot of people wouldn't do that. So credit to
Andy.
Roy.
I don't know how many other people you're going to get going head to head, because it's fun when we give away free 3-day flex passes, but Andy going head to head with folks. So yesterday, if you missed the show, Roy was saying, hey, I like the Celtics. I'm laying it with them. And Andy said, hey, you care to make this a little more interesting? And Andy wagered, hey, if you win, if the Celtics win and they cover, and Andy said, you can take 5.5. I don't care. Lay 5.5. We gave him the advantageous number. And Andy said, if your team wins and covers, I'll give you a free 3-day pass. If I win and cover, and he had the Sixers who won outright, didn't even need the points, he said Roy had to buy a 3-day pass. So those are some of the challenges we throw down here, folks. We love the live chat. And Roy, congratulations on becoming an Andy Lang client. It's going to be a great weekend to have action, buddy.
Block says Dean Wade is down to 3.5. 3.5 is out there on some books. I have to take 4.5 because it's the higher number out there, and that's what I put out for clients.
And we're fine with that.
I need to take the higher number.
It's because they're talking about how he's not going to be in the starting lineup. It doesn't matter. He's going to be on the court. He's going to have the opportunities. I still like D Wade, as he is affectionately known, to go over.
Okay, let's do all around the world, and we'll give away a 3-day pass here at the end for everyone that stuck around, because I believe Gianni and I are going head to head in the UFC main event, so that will make that one fun. We'll give away a 3-day pass on Monday. We didn't talk about the Raptors and Cavaliers. That was one NBA game we didn't cover. I don't have a strong opinion on this one, but I always like to talk about it. I'll lean over 218.5, but I don't feel 100% confident on it, but I do want to at least talk about it. So this Raptors Cavs, I mean, this is 125, 120 in their last game. 93-89 was the stinker before that. But before that, you got games of 126, 104, 115, 105, 126, 113. So I think that this game probably goes over this one. Again, not a strong play, but I do want to talk about it. Pace is there. Offense is there, and these teams really haven't locked down very much on defense. So we'll go ahead and take that one over. What do we keep telling you guys about the Mammoth and the Golden Knights? And this is, and Teddy brought this up. Like, if they put out a bad line in game one, they just keep with it. And they keep with it on the Mammoth and Golden Knights, over 5.5. They've scored 9 goals in the last 2 games in this series. Props overs are hitting. Barbashev has a point in every game, and they just keep putting out 5.5 at reasonable juice. So I will take the Mammoth over the Golden Knights. So, all right, I will take Carlos Prates going head-to-head against Jack Della Maddalena. Care to make things
Oh,
interesting, King
Andy,
Cabano?
no.
Care to make things interesting.
Don't do it, King. Don't do it.
Listen, UFC is the one to go head to head with me this year because my video
That's
plays
fair.
and free plays
That is
have not been.
fair. If you're gonna fade Andy in anything, then go head to head and try and get a free 3-day flex pass on the UFC. But I like it. Are you down, Cabano? Andy wants the other side. Are you down?
I will give you my reasoning for the plays. I think Prates has more KO power. His one-shot power is going to be a little bit better than Jack's. Maddalena was champ and just lost it. This is a theory that I really like. When somebody reaches the pinnacle and then they fall down, it's really hard to get back up. So Maddalena has tasted gold and then promptly lost it. Prates' only UFC loss was a fight against Ian Gary where it was short notice. He went 5 rounds. He showed us he has the cardio. I don't care that he's a chain smoker. And Maddalena, what are his wins? He beat up a washed-up Bilal Muhammad. He was losing to Burns until he KO'd him late. He almost lost to Holland and Basil Hafez. I don't think the wrestling is going to be there. So, what a surprise. John Lim is in here and has bad things to say. If you don't feel
Andy,
confident.
on that Raptors, if that Raptors and Cavs game, you said, and Andy literally said at the top, you said, hey, we talked about the 2 other NBA games on the show. We didn't talk about this one, so I like talking about all 3, so you have opinions on all 3 games. Yes, leans, they're exactly that. They're leans. So,
do you want me to lie to you and say, I'm really confident in this play?
This is a lock.
Or do you want me to tell you that this isn't a strong play of mine? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and pump something up.
And Johnny L, a minute into the show, every single day we give you a client play. That is something we bet with our own money. And we did.
Come on, John, bring some positivity. Bring some positivity to our lives.
I'm positive that he's going to comment something mean, Andy. I'm positive of that. That's something that I'm positive of.
Much love. We hope you win all your bets. So King Cabano will wait just a couple seconds here to see if you want to go head to head. The 3-day pass is on the line.
Andy, he hasn't commented back. I think we have the answer. I don't think he wants to. And John, you know what? Your prerogative is on your show. You don't have to give it out. How about that, John?
Then don't play it.
There you go.
Then don't play it, John. It's really simple. If you don't like the play and you don't think I'm that confident.
And on his show, feel free. Don't give him that. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
So, all right. King. Okay. King made a very, very smart statement. He's a little bit biased towards JDM and does not want to get involved. That is a very smart way to play it. But what we are going to do, comment below Andy Prates or Gianni Maddalena, and whoever wins will give away a 3-day pass. So make sure you comment after the show is over in the comment section. And we'll give away a 3-day pass. So thank you everyone for joining us. And Dan, I'm getting ready to do something, and I can't believe I'm this nervous. I'm getting ready to do my very first live auction stream for my skincare company. Okay.
Ooh.
So my buddy down the street, we've got this little studio. I'm going to be selling my skincare product on Whatnot. It's the very first stream. I would probably. We may not have anybody watching, like maybe 5 to 10 people. So I got to build this channel up, and I'm so nervous. I sit there every
just
day.
Talk really fast. You can be a little right here, 10. I mean, so it's sold to the man in the flop sweat. There we go, sold.
So I'm actually nervous about doing this, even though I'm going to be talking to 5 or 10 people. I sit here and have thousands of people watch it. It doesn't bother me, but. Trying something new, really, really new. But I'm very, very excited about that. So if you're not doing anything, jump over to Whatnot. You will see me talking about that. Thank you, Seth. It is phenomenal.
Dude, Whatnot is great.
Very, very
Whatnot is great if you want to get some snags. Whatnot is definitely they sell like used gear, stuff like that. If you're a gamer, card collector, Whatnot, and now the latest entry is Andy's skincare. So check that out, Andy. I'm gonna tune in just so you're not alone over there. We'll grow this thing together. But guys, again, if you watch the show, guys, girls, folks tuning in, we appreciate you. Hit that like button and subscribe, and comment below with your WagerTalk username as well with Andy or Gianni. Let us know who you side on. Your other chance to win a free 3-day flex pass. Comment below with comment below with who you think is winning the Derby. And yes, starting on Monday, only lies. We'll tell you the opposite sides of what we like. There we go.
So funny. All right. Thanks very
Best
much,
of luck,
guys.
everyone.
Have a great show. We'll see you Monday. Take care.